Make sure to subscribe to our channel, or else your crush will embarrass you in front of everybody. Hello, fellow Ralph. Today we have a video that is not about trashing on a Karen. Thank God. This video is about one of the shitty-ass story time animations, and I don't know, I'm just gonna commentary over it. Alright, let's get right into this.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel, or your crush will embarrass you in front of everyone.
Jesus Christ, that's an aggressive way to start off the video. You know what? I'm gonna add that into editing, so if you guys get that at the start of the video, you can thank this video for it.
I told my mom, but she thought I was just making it up to get out of doing the dishes. Boy, did she feel bad. When I finished the dishes, my hands and arms were entirely bright red and hot to the touch. My mom rushed me to the emergency room, where they took me immediately at the sight of how severe my reaction was. The doctor asked me if I had been exposed to anything new, and my mom, confused, answered it was the same dish soap she always bought. He gave me a prescription for a cream that would help clear up the reaction and stop the itching. He said to pay close attention to the products I used on my skin and any reactions I might have for the next few weeks. When my mom and I went back to the doctor for a follow-up appointment, he agreed. I was clearly allergic to soap.
Okay, I can already tell this video is fake because I've never heard any allergy where you're allergic to, chemical soap. It's probably out there, but I've never heard of it. So let's just keep poking holes in this.
Later, we learned it wasn't all soap, thankfully. But since we didn't know what chemical in particular in common soaps was causing my problem, I had to switch to all-natural soaps that were chemical-free. As I got older, my allergy got worse. I couldn't touch anyone who had recently used soaps with chemicals or who had any residue of it on their hands. It was a nightmare. School was already hard enough. Dating was going to be impossible.
I think I just want to point this out right now. I don't think dating is constantly touching each other all the time. Like, you could probably wear some gloves, like maybe a COVID-19 mask, wear a hat, and you'd probably be fine. I don't get why she's making, a huge deal about this. But maybe for it to have conflict, I don't know. Also, sorry I keep tuning in. I'll try to slow it down a little bit.
I went from just being the weird girl carrying her own soap with her everywhere to being the freak that wore gloves and long sleeves all the time. When I went on my first date, I wore my gloves and long sleeves, feeling like a freak. But my date didn't seem to care. Either that or he pretended not to notice. He planned the whole thing. He took me to the movies.
Simp. Sorry.
Which was such a relief as no one could stare at me, and bought us popcorn, candy, and soda, letting me choose all the flavors. I had never felt so special. We saw a romantic comedy, and I was having the time of my life.
Are we not going to ignore the fact that he's just sitting there staring at her when the movie's playing? I know she's, you're taking her on a date, but you're supposed to watch the movie. What the hell? What is this animation?
About halfway through the movie, he leaned in to kiss me. My heart started pounding hard with excitement. That was short-lived, unfortunately, because the second he kissed me, my face and throat started swelling up. I couldn't breathe.
I don't get what animation style they chose to animate this. She literally looks like Violet from Charlie and the Goddamn Chocolate Factory over here. What the hell? Jesus Christ.
And everything started to go dark. The last thing I heard was my date crying out for help in the movie theater. I woke up a little later in an ambulance after they had given me epinephrine, a medicine used to treat severe allergic reactions. The EMTs in the ambulance told me that I was lucky to be alive. They said I had gone into anaphylactic shock and that I needed to be more careful to avoid my allergens. I couldn't believe it. Nothing like this had ever happened to me before. My head was filled with a million questions. What happened to my date? Was he freaking out? Did he think he killed me?
I'm just gonna give you a little spoiler alert, but
when he found out about my allergy, he said it was too much. He didn't want to use a specific type of soap or spend his time worrying about whether or not he might...
Jesus Christ, what a douchebag. He finds out about her, deadly allergy and starts screaming at her at the top of his lungs. Jesus Christ, dude, what the hell's up with this man?
Kill me. He said it was too much responsibility and didn't want to be liable. I understood, but it hurt me deeply. Ellie said that I shouldn't worry about it. If that was the way he felt, he didn't deserve me, and I was better off without him. But I'd seen enough romantic comedies to know that that's just what people say when you're dumped. Ellie's next suggestion was to try a dating app. She said I could even add a special
Oh god, she's gonna go on Tinder and just start swiping right and everybody like Quagmire did in that episode of Family Guy. She's gonna turn into like a Tinder creature within a month.
specification about not minding coping with allergies. I had no idea you could be specific about such a thing on an app like that. I decided to give it a shot.
I know I'm critiquing every small thing about this video, but when she's using a dating app, I don't think she should be having an animation like an anime supervillain. Okay, back to the video.
She helped me get my profile together and gave me tips for ways to sell myself and attract the right type of person to my profile. I received my first message from a guy named Eric, and we planned a date. This time, I decided to lead with my allergy. If he couldn't deal with it, I didn't need to waste any more of my time with him. Much to my surprise, Eric didn't mind at all. He quickly replied, "That's terrible. Do I need to switch my soaps or detergents before we meet up?" I couldn't believe it. I was so glad Ellie had this terrific idea.
I think the term meet up could be, let's say, misunderstood. It seems like he's a little too eager to change soaps, in my opinion. Just in my opinion.
I let Eric know my specifications, and he promised to take extra special care the day of our date. About 2 hours before my date, Eric sent me an urgent message. I was so scared he was canceling, but he wasn't. "I'm worried about your allergy, and I want to make sure you're completely comfortable. Would you rather change our meetup location to somewhere you feel is safer for you?" I couldn't believe what I just read. What a terrific guy. I quickly responded that that was such a considerate thought and invited him over to my room.
Oh yeah, now I know why this is 200,000 views. I'm so excited for them to change soaps.
I informed Ellie so she could be close by in case anything went wrong. After all, I was meeting someone I had met online for the first time. That's pretty risky. Ellie helped me get ready and helped to create our room look date-ready. We looked online for some fun suggestions and created the perfect scene. We made a fort out of our sheets, put our mattresses on the floor with tons of pillows, covered in blankets, all of course washed with my special detergent.
Holy shit, I thought they were just gonna make a stupid fort. They're actually going to be, exchanging soaps. I'm very excited here.
And set up Netflix on the TV.
Okay, now I really know what direction this is going to. It's Netflix and chill. It's a bed and Netflix. I don't think I have to elaborate much more about what they're gonna do.
Before she left, Ellie had the terrific idea of hanging her string lights around the room for some nice ambiance. "And remember," Ellie said, "if you need anything or anything goes wrong, I'm just down the hall in the common room." Eric arrived right on time, and he looked even more handsome than the photo he sent me. He had brought me flowers and cookies. We ordered pizza and watched Netflix for the next 3 hours. At 11 o'clock, Ellie came back in and woke us up. We had fallen asleep. It was the perfect night, and I was pretty sure that I was already falling in love. That night, Ellie and I talked about the date until 2 or 3 in the morning. I was so excited, and she was so happy for me. The next morning, I woke up to a text from Eric. "Had a great time last night. Let's do it again soon. You free tomorrow?" Smiley face. Ellie and I squealed with excitement after we read it. I asked him what he had in mind, and he offered to make me a full dinner and bring it to my dorm, so I could still be safe.
I understand she has a soap allergy, but why is she not going anywhere? Why are they just having every single date in the bedroom? It's not adding up!
Ellie and I spent the rest of the day shopping to find me the perfect outfit. I was so happy and excited to see Eric again. Ellie recommended I choose something that looked cute while also being comfortable, since we'd likely be sitting on the floor again.
Oh, I know what'll turn on the mood. 2-man adult dinosaur inflatable costume for Halloween.
We picked out some cute floral leggings and a low-cut, flowy top, and Ellie made some recommendations for how I should wear my hair and makeup. Ellie offered to set up the room for me while I got ready, which really helped me out. While I fixed my hair, though, I received a text that shocked me. "Amelia, what you doing tonight?" John had texted. "What does that loser want?" Ellie asked when I told her who had texted. I showed her the message. "I'll handle this," Ellie said, and she snapped the phone from my hand. She furiously typed as I waited, impatiently. Finally, she handed me back my phone. I looked to see what she had typed. "Not interested. Leave me alone, loser."
Jesus Christ, what is that shriek? It's like she just saw her friend say that she was gonna murder him and his entire family. She just said, "Not interested, leave me alone, loser." I don't see the problem here.
and sent it. What, do you care? She asked when I confronted her about it. You're not going to talk to him again. Look how great a guy you've got now. You don't need him. I realized pretty quickly that she was right. He did deserve that rude response. And what did I care after all? I didn't want to see him ever again. Ellie went to a friend's room this time while Eric was over, since we knew we could trust him. He showed up with a 3-course meal he'd cooked for us.
I'm not a chef or anything, but I don't think a 3-course meal is 6 goddamn goldfish on 3 bricks, okay? That's not a meal.
And put it in containers. It was the most delicious pasta I had ever had. We spent the night talking, playing card games, and talking. Towards the end of the day, someone knocked on the door. I couldn't imagine who it could possibly be. I opened the door to find John on the other side. I couldn't believe my eyes. How did he find me? He had never been here before.
Plot twist, the reason she got so scared when she looked at her text is because he's an ex-murderer and said he was coming to kill her.
He got angry when he saw Eric behind me and started yelling and acting crazy. Eric looked at me for answers. After seeing the shock and horror on my face, he leapt into action. He insisted that John should leave, or he would make him leave. They yelled at each other for a few minutes, but after threatening to call the police, John left. I hugged Eric and thanked him, and I knew that finally I have someone who cares about me and loves me despite having a weird allergy.
Okay, so that's a wrap. That's the end of the video. You can tell all of these animation videos are fake because it has the same voice actor for every person. Also, a lot of these are just insane, so if you want me to review ones that are, like, even worse than being allergic to bubbles and wearing, like, full bodysuit in public, just leave a like, please subscribe, or else your crush will abandon you in public.